Hi, everyone. We will today be going after a Filipino rum and a few words on that subject. The Philippines, of course, is a major sugar producing nation. And rums like Don Papa have kind of sort of given it a bad name because it's like one of the most visible doctored rums out there and regularly appears on hate lists where people talk about how much they hate its, sugar additions and so on. But there are other companies that do make rums in the Philippines. And probably the largest of them, and yet the one that is curiously not that well known, is Tanduay. And Tanduay may actually be one of the largest rum producing companies in the world. The only thing is that they don't play very much in the Western wheelbox. They do a lot of their exports and sales in the Far East, which is why they would know about it, but we probably don't. Now, Tanduay has been around as a distillery since about 1854, and that means that they've probably had several changes of ownership, and they're a public company now, as far as I'm aware, and they have quite a stable of rums. I've probably reviewed about 3 or 4 of them by now. There was the silver, there was the 1854, commemorating the date when it was made. There was some aged rums in there, some supposedly centennial or special editions, so on. But to me, the workhorse of all of them is this one, the 12-year-old. And they call it a Superior, which, okay, fine, whatever. Now, this is actually the same rum that I tried back in, I think it was 2011 or 2012. I had a sample of that one, but eventually I managed to pick up a bottle. And then, of course, I never opened it because I wasn't working there anymore and I left and I didn't come back for quite a long time. So there is actually not a whole lot that we know about it, which is really strange because you'd expect that we'd know rather more rather than less. But no, that's not the case at all. We know the date of formation of the company, which was 1854. We know that it's based in Manila. We know that it's 40%. It is, with almost beyond a shadow of a doubt, except that 1% of doubt that could always remain, it is a column still product. It is aged in ex-bourbon barrel. It's done in the Spanish style, which is to say that the distillation, the fermentation don't really mean very much. It really comes down to barrel management and blending and aging after the fact. That's what this is. It's 12 years old blended rum, issued at 40%. Now, I wish there was more I could say about it, but the truth is, you might almost call it the Bacardi of Asia, and with very good reason, because when you try it and you smell it, what you're getting is a very standard kind of, average rum profile, which is to say that you get a little bit of caramel, you get a little bit of vanilla, you get a little bit of salt, a little bit of citrus, a little bit of leather, a little bit of smoke, all the stuff that comes out of ex-bourbon barrels. A bourbon drinker would therefore probably really like this, even at 40%. The thing, though, is that for 12 years old, I would expect just a little bit more, even on the nose, and even at 40%. Now, 40% rums I tend to try first thing in the morning when my nose is still fresh and hasn't been contaminated with 10,000 different other things around the kitchen or the house or wherever it is that I'm going that day. And that's what I did with this one. It's actually about noon now, and I've had this on the go for 6 hours. But the truth is, there really isn't very much more than what I'm describing. Over and beyond that, the taste really isn't very much to say about it. It's milquetoast, For a 12-year-old to display so little characteristics suggests that it's really not made for the Western markets that have now been accustomed to stuff that's over 43, 46%, that has got tons of choice of various independent bottlers that go even higher than that have got complexity just coming out of yin yang. None of that is sensed here. This is a completely standard budget rum. I have no idea how much this costs when it can be found these days. And I imagine that by now the blend has been tweaked a little bit, but I have tried a Tanduay fairly recently, and I don't really think so. I think it's pretty much the same as it always was. Because remember, mass market rum is what this is, not mass quality. So when you taste it, once again, you're getting a little bit of raisins, fruits, watermelons, caramel, a bit of aromatic tobacco. That's a nice touch. It presents very nicely in the tongue. No bitch, no scratch, no bite, no nothing. It's actually very mild. And if you were to taste this blind with, say, the Quattro or the Ocho from Bacardi, you'd be hard pressed to figure out which is which, to be quite honest. I mean, of course, you can tell eventually if you have enough experience with it, but the similarities are there. Spanish style, light rum, aged in the barrel, blended up to yin yang. Pretty much that's all you're going to get. Originally, I rated the rum at 84 points in my original review, which I'll link to in the show notes here, as I always do. Were I to relook at this now, I probably would stay in that wheelhouse, but because strength should not be a determinant here. The taste and how it kind of presents is. And I think I'd probably take it down to about 82 points or 83. For a 12-year-old, that's almost like an indictment as opposed to an endorsement. But I can't tell you better than that. It is what it is, and it's made for an audience that has moved on, and for a reviewer in this case who likes slightly stronger stuff and like slightly more complex stuff. However, that is not to say you won't enjoy it. So by all means, give it a shot if you think that's your thing, and see how it compares against other standards like Bacardi or Lambs or any of the others that put out Ambres or Browns or Golds or whatever, because that's exactly what this is. And that's all for today, and we'll talk again next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.